Hi guys! So let's dig into some skills. So I'm a firm believer that sales and networking and making friends are all basically the same thing. And in my mind, if you're really good at sales, then networking and making friends is probably pretty easy. But if sales is hard for you or you really don't like it, then sometimes networking can be really challenging. So since I have a history of sales, what I wanted to do is teach you some really basic skills that you can use to help in business networking and also just in a general social setting that will help you increase your chances of really connecting with people. So firstly, the really important thing to remember is that the first 30 seconds of any interaction with somebody is really determining how far you're going to go and what impression you're making. I remember I read this statistic that was like a woman decides if she's going to sleep with a man within the first 30 seconds. And even if that's not true, I think it's really saying a lot about how much we can gather about other people in the first 30 seconds of any interaction. So the first thing you need to remember is an acronym called SEE, and that stands for smile, eye contact, and enthusiasm. And I cannot emphasize how important all of those are. Smiling, not only does it make us appear more confident and attractive, it lets the person know that we're talking to that we want to talk to them. And while I am a feminist and I would never tell a woman to smile, it is important to know that when you're first meeting people, if you have RBF, it really helps to kind of put yourself in a good mood beforehand and make sure that when you meet someone new, you're smiling. By the same token, eye contact is so important. There are a lot of cultures where it's seen as a sign of respect not to maintain eye contact, but here in America, that is not the case. Make sure that you're maintaining appropriate eye contact. Don't stare weirdly though, that's frowned upon. And then enthusiasm. People want to know that you want to get to know them. If you are really super low energy and you know you're going to be going into a social situation or a networking event, get a coffee, hype up a little bit, get yourself excited because people want to be around other positive people. A couple quick tips. The first, make sure you say their name. This is a little bit of a trick from cult leaders, but it really works. People like to hear you say their name, and the side note is it helps you remember their name, which is really important. So let's say you're going into a social situation or a networking event, something like that. One really important thing you need to do really quickly, like in the first 30 seconds if you can, is to figure out the connection there. Share a connecting story, ask questions. So let's say you're going to a business luncheon and you don't know anybody and the person sitting next to you is someone you also don't know. So turn to them and ask them a question. You can ask them, hey, have you ever been to this meeting before? And no matter what their answer is, it gives you more to talk about. If they have been and you haven't, you can ask for tips about that. One really neat psychological trick is that people feel fondly for people that they feel like they've helped. So asking for advice, that kind of thing, is a really great way to kind of quickly connect to someone. If you both have been before, you can take some time and compare notes. If you haven't been before, then you can ask questions about, well, hey, what made you come? Really get them to start talking because statistics show that when people talk more in a conversation, they rate the conversation as being more positive. The next thing to keep in mind is to make sure that your nonverbals are matching what you're doing with your mouth. So if I'm talking to you here, but my shoulders are faced away and my feet are faced away, I'm on an unconscious or subconscious level telling that person that I don't want to be in that conversation. So if you're interested in that person, make sure your attention is fully towards them so that they know, hey, I'm really interested in connecting with you today. The next thing is, I know this sounds weird, but show interest, but don't be desperate. People can really tell when you're trying very hard. And I do think it's important to show interest. So if you feel like you meet a lot of people, but then it just never translates to, later interest where you guys are going to coffee or hanging out, you're really missing that closing step, as we would say in sales. So if you're at this business luncheon and you've been talking for 20 minutes about a volunteer organization they're a part of, don't be afraid to say, hey, could I email you or could I send you like a Facebook friend request or a LinkedIn request? I'd really love to know more about that. So what you've got there is what we call a foot in the door, that little bit extra, and then that's really going to help you, ask them to coffee later. By the same token, it's okay to ask people to coffee, especially if it's in a business setting, because you can just say, hey, I would really love to know more about what you do. Can I take you to coffee sometime? Okay, if they don't want to schedule it later on, then that's them telling you they said yes to be nice, but otherwise you've made a valuable business connection. Socially, especially when we're out of college, people feel really uncomfortable asking friends out. It's okay to say, you know what, I think you're really cool. I know we were talking about this earlier. Do you want to go see this movie? Do you want to do this? It's so hard to make friends. And open up about that kind of thing. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you've got to at least put yourself out there a little bit to get that interest going. And finally, know when to make an exit. The worst is you've had a really great conversation and then it lasts too long. So if you are feeling like, okay, great conversation, we've exchanged numbers, now I'm an awkward turtle, I don't know what to do with my hands, everybody's staring. Oh, look, I have to make a call, or excuse yourself to the restroom. Don't tell them you'll be right back because you don't want to lie and then make yourself look bad. Let them know that you've really enjoyed chatting with them and you hope to see them again soon, but you've just got to take this call real quick. So those are just some quick tips that you can really make a difference in the first few minutes of any conversation that will really help you increase your chances of a positive networking slash social experiences. Let me know what you think or if you have suggestions for me, okay? Thanks so much. Bye.